There was also other news, and we haven't really seen any draft stuff coming out. At least the last couple of days, last week. But there is a visitor that's coming to Detroit.
Oh,
and that visitor is probably the most intriguing prospect in the entire draft. Shemar.
Here we go. Stewart. Here we go. He's in Detroit right now as we speak. He got in tonight, and he is going to be in Allen Park all day tomorrow, or most of the day tomorrow.
And Boone put it out. By the way, follow Boone. He's on top of all NFL news, so give him a follow. He put out here, Lions are hosting Texas A&M edge Shemar Stewart for a top 30 visit, per Ryan Fowler. Stewart has 4.5 sacks, but has elite measurables, high upside, projected first-round pick, is visiting the D. He's Klotzy.
Uh-oh. We better hope Marcus Davenport's able to stay healthy if you want to win a Super Bowl this year. I'll put it quite frankly. Shemar Stewart, here's the thing. Shemar Stewart could pan out to be a very good NFL player, but it's not going to be in year 1, and it's not going to be in year 2. And when do the Detroit Lions need to have these young contracts hit the most? This year and next year, because then they'll start signing guys and just not going to give much room in free agency. So Shemar Stewart's a huge risk. If you're going to take a risk like that, where the Lions are right now at that position of need, the number one need, and you're going to say, you know what? I'm looking at guys that are also in Power 5 conferences that have more sacks than that, have been like, if Iafrate's sitting there and you're going to be like, give me Shemar Stewart. You're smoking crack. You are smoking crack. There's no way. Shemar Stewart could be a good player, not year 1. I think the Lions, if you're going to go defensive end in round 1, you want somebody that can be able to project and play year 1 and make a difference. Because if not, you're either hoping that they sign somebody in free agency or you're relying on Marcus Davenport. So Shemar Stewart can pan out to be a good player. I just think it's one of those moves where James Pierce is there. A guy, like we said, Iafrate. Like, there's guys that can play right now and give you production right now and also develop. Why take a risk like that in the first round, in my opinion? It's not a risk like Jameson Williams was. It's not a risk like Jahmyr Gibbs was, because what did both of them have? Insane measurables as far as what they can do with their production and what they did at the 40. Like, Jameson Williams wasn't the combine, but you could see the dude fucking flew. And you could see how important he was at Alabama. He was on the biggest stage. Jahmyr Gibbs, you saw how important he was. Those were risks, but I really don't think it was a risk when it came to the prospect or player. There is serious risk with Shemar Stewart. He could be one of those guys that just simply does not pan out. I don't think you looked at Jahmyr Gibbs or Jameson Williams, those other risky guys that won't pan out. So if it happens, I'm happy at least they drafted a defensive end, but I'm against as far as the actual prospect.
Stop the cap.
All right, well,
I had to get my lick back. Klotz, can I just say this? Out of everyone, and honestly, and this is me being like, hey, Klotz, like, you're my boy. Out of everyone I ever expect to be able to just watch some game film and be like, this guy might have something, even though the stats aren't there, because you do it all the time with guys. I am still in shock every time I hear you don't like Shemar Stewart. Like you're a guy where we go to the combine and you see a guy's measurables and you always used to tell us, hey, don't listen to the underwear Olympics, man. But then, like, we go to the combine and we go walk away and you're like, did you see how that guy ran out there? Did you see those measurables? Did you see how he tested? And then we leave the combine and you have 30 guys circled and you're like, here we go. But like with Shemar, the only negative is he doesn't get sacks. But every single other thing, he's there. It's a big part, but everything else is there where you're like, if you get him to the league and he starts to get sacks, he's like the size. Like I said, Jeff, when did I look at you when we first saw Shemar Stewart on the field? Literally, honest, but who did I compare him to? And I said, he looks just like him in his combine, because we saw a picture of it. And then what popped up on the screen? Who was it?
Myles Garrett.
Instantly. I just looked in the field and saw how big. I just looked at the production. I looked down there and looked how big he was, and I went, I remember seeing Myles Garrett at the combine. I looked down and I said, oh my gosh, Shemar Stewart, his size down there, and he's like in front of us. That looks just like Myles Garrett. And I'm not saying
keyword looks.
Yeah, I'm not, but I'm saying, like, when you're talking about the measurables and all of that, and then he tests, and he tests out of this world, and you're like, oh my gosh. If this guy ends up in the NFL, if he ends up getting put in we talk about it all the time. Some players thrive. They thrive in good situations. The Detroit Lions is a very, very, very emphasized class, very good situation to where Shemar Stewart comes in with all of the attributes and immeasurables, and he's next to Hutch, Aleem, DJ. The man's going to end up, he's going to be good if you put him in the right situation. Now, if he goes to like a bad team, yeah, he's probably going to do what he did at Texas A&M. Put him in the right spot and let him blossom. You're going to, Klotz, I'm going to say it now. You're not going to look good, buddy. You're not going to look good.
I'm now going to counter Boone. As far as the combine goes, when have I ever been like, I saw this guy at the combine, I circle guys and I'll go look at their production. And my problem with Shemar Stewart is if we're taking Shemar Stewart in the second round, no issue at all. But if you're going to get Shemar Stewart, one, you're probably going to have to trade up for him, because if he's as good as everybody says he is, shouldn't get outside the top 20. If he's falling and there's teams that are passing on defensive ends that need defensive ends, it's probably for a reason. And again, this team needs somebody that can play now, unless you want to rely on Marcus Davenport. And there's guys that can translate better now, and you don't have to take a ginormous risk. It's a first-round pick. You can take risk in the second round if you want to, but this is a team that's a step away from a Super Bowl, and that step away is the defensive end. So why risk it when there's guys that also have a ton of upside? Like, yeah, everyone knew he was going to test good, and that's why he's flying up draft boards. Nobody was like, wow, he tested good. That's the whole thing with him. You know he was going to go there and dominate the combine. But again, there's guys who have production and have the intangibles that can translate now. Like, the risk with him is, can he get sacks? What do the Detroit Lions need more than anything? Sacks. What's the question mark with James Pierce? Character issues. Can he get him to the quarterback? Yeah. Like, in the first round pick, give me the guy with the least amount of question marks, especially where the Lions are at. If you're going to,
I'm just saying, Klotz,
if you want to take a role at defensive
when
end,
he has a 15 sack season, you're going to be like, oh no. Like, at one point of his career, he's going to have a 15 sack season, and I'm going to have to text you.
Or he could just not translate to the NFL.
Or he does, and he has all the measurables, and he's like, he just hasn't in college. He wasn't put in the right position. He wasn't there to succeed. He wasn't put in positions to succeed.
He wasn't there to succeed.
I mean, he wasn't put into positions to succeed.
No, I get it.
I'd be willing to be
Nick Scorin.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
Nick
I
Scorin,
like
perfect example.
There was no noise about Shemar Stewart through regular season. No noise. Like, as far as being like that dude. And then the offseason.
How many guys do you talk? You can't do that when it comes to the draft. I can't. No, we're not doing that, because how many guys do you bring up where there's no noise? I haven't even heard of.
As far as being first round picks,
there have been first round guys. Nick Amanawari. No one talked about him until the combine, and you love him. And then all of a sudden, you're like,
I love him. I'm not taking him in the first round.
Okay, you have talked. We had those conversations about him being in the first round. Now that it doesn't float your boat, you don't want to say that. Okay,
I would not.
Okay.
I would not take.
When it goes your way,
I just made a whole argument to you yesterday on why I wouldn't take a safety in the first round, and you're throwing a safety in there. I'm not taking a safety in the first round.
You too.
No, it's all right. You're just lying now. So it's okay. I don't like
Booner.
I literally just got in an argument with you yesterday about Malachi Starks, about how it makes no sense for this.
I'm not talking about that. It's all right. It's all right. Move on. You're going down a rabbit hole. I don't even know what you're talking about now. Let's get.
You just said I would take Nick Amar. The same.
We've had conversations about how a team, whether you would take him or not, but a team would draft him in the first round. There's potential he would be a first round pick. That's the point. I'm not talking about you, Klotzy. We're talking about guys that all year long no one talked about because of no one talked about their production, and they weren't all these big guys, and they have a chance to go in the first round. That's the conversation here, with just like Shemar Stewart. There are guys where you didn't know about all year that could potentially go in the first round this year. That's just a fact. It's a dead fact.
What I'm saying
that's
is, compared to guys that, if those guys that we're talking about right now, as far as the guys that you turn on in the offseason, how do they pan out compared to the guys that have been doing production for 2 years in college football, have everything that you ask, have been making noise all year, just like you thought they were going to, and nothing changes. But then there's these guys where the offseason changes. People get like, well, look at his intangibles here. Well, look at his intangibles here, but translates not as efficiently compared to those other guys.
I think Shemar Stewart will move on, but I'm clear. This is going to be a moment in Crunch Time sports history that we'll revisit when
Shemar,
he's drafted,
sure.
when he plays, all this stuff. He's the one prospect. Usually I'm pretty good at picking like him, not a fan of him. I don't really know what to make of Shemar. Like I think he's really, like I'll say this. If the Lions were to take him, would I be upset? I don't think I'd be upset. I'd probably be like, I would probably be like, okay. I think there are players that, you draft based on how you think they'll translate to the NFL. And I can understand that. Like I brought up Odafe, like for the Ravens, like some guys, and he's a 10-sack guy. Like and he didn't produce much in college. So I think, would it be controversial? Yes. And if he doesn't work out, would it look a lot worse? Yes, for Brad. But I would at least, I don't think I'd crap on the pick.
I think you have to choose a side. I think you just chose a side. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. Like I'm not going to say it'd be a terrible.
Welcome to the vote.
I don't know really. It's a controversial for sure. Like if he was drafted, I think it'd probably be split in the family.
I think last thing I'll say on this, and I'm done after. I'm done after this with Shemar Stewart. If he gets put in a good situation, he's going to be very good in the NFL. If he gets put in a bad, I think he's one of those guys to where his situation is going to matter very, very much. Like if he gets put on the Lions, he's going to be fine. If he gets put on, I'm starting to think of a random team like the Panthers, he's probably going to struggle. Like that's just what it is. Like if he's put with a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, he's going to blossom and he's going to turn into something.
He had Nick.
I'm done after that.
Multiple guys.
I'm done. I'm done, dude. You're arguing. It's like, dude, I don't want to like you're going off these other middle. You're going off so many different tunnels right now. I have no clue what you're yelling about.
To be fair, so that was the final word.
I said, yeah. I just wanted to say if he gets put in a good spot, he's going to be fine. If you want to say Nick Scorin, like Nick Scorin was very good at Purdue and then came there and was not good. It was not a Nick Scorin. It was a Texas A&M situation. This was a massive Texas A&M situation.
Okay. I get it. And I agree. I do agree with that. Klotz, he's not a huge fan of him. So, and that's okay.
Second round.
He's a fourth round. He's a fourth round guy to you. Yeah.
I just said the 2 rounds in front of you.
That's why ball no tag has been revoked from me for you. Until further
That's fine. It doesn't have to be an objective thing, Boone.
No, it's subjective. It is subjective. A lot of Lions fans. I mean, there's people in the comments literally right now that don't like it. So it's controversial. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested, or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise. FisherCTSports.com.